Professionalism.
Damn, son! Where did you find this?
What's up, my friends and fellow fuckers? My name is Nick, also known as Nicholas, if I'm in trouble. Also known as Fowler, and welcome to my studio for another, hopefully, eye-opening experience for me, and maybe for you as well. Now, today I've done something different where I have hotspotted to my phone for internet. So there's that, and so far it's working out. So I'm pumped. I hate internet issues, and I have been plagued by them for centuries. Okay, let's hop into. Oh, I guess I have to open FL Studio. That helps, doesn't it? There we go. There's the FL sound. That's great. And let's open up production feedback. It's almost like I was prepared for this. Let's then grab the tracks that have been submitted and drop them in. And we have November 18th. Here we go. All right. So, what do we get up first? Thank you, everybody, for the compliments of my haircut. I desperately needed a haircut, and I got one, and I'm very happy about that. So, first spot, we got Bass Freak Distorted. I wonder what this is going to sound like. Okay, let me stop it there for a sec. There's a lot of stuff happening in the sub range, and it's all kind of wobbling together. Like, if we solo the sub bass, I'm not hearing a discernible. It's a little flamby. It's a little flambish. I don't know what that means, but it's a bit messy. The sub range is not interacting in a good way. I think side chaining, high pass, all that good stuff. Make sure your foundation is good. All right, let's get back to the lead part. Wait a second. You guys were hearing it through my my microphone. That probably sounds a lot better. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay, so side chaining. Side chaining, side chaining, side chaining. This needs side chaining. Otherwise, it's all being crammed together and the drums are on top of it and it's kind of a mess in terms of the mix. Like, definitely figure out how to do proper side chaining. That's going to transform this song a lot. Yes, I got a haircut. Thank you for noticing. I like the mischievous vibe. It's very mischievous, but the mix is a bit out of control. I think side chaining is going to really help a lot. I think sub separation is going to help a lot. Let's listen to this last bit. Because again, if we just listen to the sub range, it's not super clear what notes are being played. It's like you can feel the kick drum, right? But everything in between the kick drums is kind of like there's no real discernible like solid note happening. So that comes down to soloing all of your sub range elements and making sure that they're playing nice together. Otherwise, they end up fist fighting, and this is the result, is that down in the bottom end you get a lot of fist fights. And I don't want fist fights. I want everybody to be happy. So no fist fights in the bottom end, please. Look into side chaining. Thanks for sending. Let's move on. We got Bumpin' MJ. This is fever dream material. This is a fever dream. The groove is cool, but I don't know what key this is in. This is, yeah, Wii Bowling. This is like Wii Bowling, except you have no arms and you're bleeding profusely from your shoulder holes. Like that's what this song is. I don't get it because the groove is so good, but then the music is just like it's a bit random, isn't it? Yeah, this is like losing both of your arms in a fever dream style of beat. I think if it's just the boop beep boop doop beep boop beep boop boop, like it's that stuff. It's I don't know if it's really jiving with the chords that are being played. Yeah, I agree with Raham. The mix sounds good, like the track sounds good. It's a good sounding track, but holy fuck the melody. The melody is a bit random. Let's try, and by let's I mean you. Try to figure out what key those chords are, what notes those chords are playing, and then decipher what notes to build your melody out of based on what's in there, because it's just a little too on the fringe of like experimental melodies. Yeah, that's what I got to say. It's a dope sounding track. Honestly, the drums, the groove, the chords are all cool, but the lead is just like reel it in, you know? Okay, let's moving on. Conqueror, Giving Up on You. I'm gonna give up on this fucking intro, that's for sure. Here we go. This is super cool, and I can almost forgive it for being so loud. I do believe that it is still just a little too loud. I think it would benefit, especially when that snare hits. It's just like this wall of harshness. You know what I mean? Like, and the snare doesn't have much punch to it because it can't, because there's a behemoth of a waveform underneath of it, right? So the mix and master sound pretty good, but I would experiment with maybe dialing it back just a little bit. It doesn't have to be this loud. It's super cool, like sound design, the vibes are all very cool, but I could tell right off the start that like the kind of ethnic Asian sounding instrument thing, it's very cool, but you can tell it's like super hyped, like OTT'd, or maybe just like master bus giving it the beans. I'm not sure, but very, very cool track so far. Let's keep going. Okay, I think there's a wrong note. Hold on. Yeah, I think in your sub bass and your bass, they're playing two different notes right here. I noticed it in the first drop too. Right there. You can actually kind of see it. See how like your bass, these lower frequencies right here, disappear for a second and come back? That's it phasing. I think it's off by one semitone. Let me know if I'm right about that. And maybe here too. Yeah, go and just make sure throughout your entire song that your basses are playing the right notes, because I think you might have fat fingered a couple of them. Yeah, so it's definitely a very cool track. I think trying to get it a little less harsh and having the punch of the snare able to cut through, that's going to give it a bit more power. Right now it's wall of sound, loud, distorted, right? But if you want that punch, you're going to have to dial things back a little bit, because it's 100% full throttle and the snare is not cutting through. And I saw somebody in the YouTube chat say that it sounded good with the wrong note. It doesn't sound that bad. But I did notice it, and I think it would sound better with the right note. Unless you're jazz, then it's about what notes they're not playing, right? I think I saw somebody said that. Anyway, very cool track. Dial it back a little bit, check your bass notes, and profit. All right, moving on. Ancients Anodyne. Anodyne. Okay, cool name. Let's normalize it. So this is cool. I think your bass, like, I pulled over 6 dB of sub range out of it, and then I brought the mastering down to kind of recover that volume that we lost. But the bass was the sub range. Oops, sorry. The sub range is just very, very loud. It's a weird track. I like it. I like the wonkiness. I think the stuttery thing wasn't really executed that well, to be honest. It kind of sounds like something broke, but like not in a cool way. But yeah, if you could bring your sub range down, let's do that again. I'm gonna go into your sub range. I'm gonna pull 6 dB out. Oh, it's touchy. 6. Yeah, oh my God. There. 6.3 dB. Okay, we pull 6.3 dB out. So when I click bypass off and on, you'll hear the difference. You'll notice if you concentrate on just the sub range doesn't seem to change volume a whole lot, but the rest of the track now has a fighting chance against it, right? So this is without it. And then the rest, I mean, like the wonkiness and that sort of stuff, that's kind of like a stylistic choice. I think this is kind of like a cool background track. It's very vibey and wonky and weird. But I think the biggest thing is when it comes to the production of it, that that the glitchy thing is not really executed that well, and then it's very, very sub heavy, very way more sub heavy, louder. Cool, but I dig it. It reminds me of Tokyo Drift or something, so that's cool. All right, we got artificial closed eyes. I always read that as like rotisserie for some reason, like rotisserie chicken. Here we go. That was an interesting choice. I felt like we were getting somewhere, and I'm not quite sure what happened. Why did we drop back out? Okay. So another one we have we have another one of the minus 6 dB of sub range gang. What's up, Mogan Toman? It definitely sounds like an alarm. Yeah, so it's super bass heavy. There's a lot of really cool elements in here, but the arrangement's a little strange. I mean, like, why don't we why you know, why doesn't this kind of happen? Yeah, I didn't really get the arrangement part of it. Oops, I stretched it. The arrangement doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me because it was like getting me going. I was like, okay, all right, I'm waking up, and then maybe this is the snooze button. Maybe somebody has hit the snooze button at this point. But once you brought in those top, I can't talk. Once you get into those top drums. This could be very, very cool. I really like a lot of this. I think the arrangement needs some work. I think you need to chill out on the sub range because you can really hear, this is without me pulling 6 dB, 5.5 dB of sub out. It's super cool. It's a very cool idea. Consider what I said about the arrangement. You know, maybe don't hit the snooze button halfway through. Maybe have it build a bit more into, you know, this. Or tell me to go fuck myself. Who knows? But it's very cool. Turn the bass down and continue. All right, moving on. We got Verbatim Heist. Wow. Okay, so Morgan's ready to fight crime. I definitely can relate to that, although I've never fought crime. So the toms are real loud. Oh wait, that was like the gun cocking. The toms are really loud, especially compared to the rest of the drums. The rest of the drums are kind of a bit soft, like a bit not. They don't have like a lot of grit to them. They're very, hey, I have a drum machine and these are the sounds that come out of it. Yeah, like the drum. I think the biggest problem I'm having is the drum. So let's see if you made this in FL Studio, fit the tempo, embedded 105. Okay. So let's change this to 105. Yes, I didn't mean to actually stretch it, but that's fine. Okay, so let's have an experiment here. And let's try some alternate drums to give you an idea of maybe this will give you some ideas of what to try. Cyberpunk kicks. These sound like shit. Let's move on. What would I use for this style? Maybe drum damage. These might be a little too aggressive, but we're just gonna roll with it for now. So let's do this. I don't mind that one. Now let's find a better snare. I'm gonna use the snare that I used in Busted Out, or one of the snares that I used in Busted Out. It's funny, I probably can remember. I think it's 17. I think that's the one I use. Ooh, this one's good too. All right, let's try this one. Okay, and now let's sidechain. Shall we? Shall we try a side chain? We shall try the side chain. So we'll go up and we'll sidechain your track, and all this is going to simulate, or what I'm trying to simulate, is basically harder drums, more aggressive, more gritty, some distortion, not so pure kind of like 808, you know, like synth kind of drums. This has a bit more, these have a bit more dirt on them, I guess you could say. And you could even maybe distort your drums a little bit, or just something to give it a bit, like the song itself is aggressive, but the drums are just a bit too drum machine-y, I find. So let's try that. We will sidechain your track. That sounds horrible, so let's find a different kick. Kicks, I don't know. Let's just go down to... Okay, I'm not doing a very good job here. I actually like your, kick better. I think it's the snare mostly. Oops. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Those are just my thoughts. I think the drums are a little soft. Let's move on. Hey dude, I see that you said I skipped yours. I actually submitted it on the 11th. Okay, I will take a look. Actually, Raham, can you go find that and then just DM it to me or something and I'll throw it in? I think in terms of like the track and the notes and all that stuff, it sounds really good. I think it sounds like a good start to a whip, but this track, it really wants to go hard. So you have to let it go hard. You know what I mean? It's not quite going as hard currently as I think it should be. Okay, don't submit a link. Just post, DM me on Discord the actual like downloadable MP3 or WAV file. Because all I do is people are supposed to submit downloadable files. I download them into a folder. Boom, 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 boom. So DM me, DM Raham, something. Get it to me somehow. But don't send me a link. Send me a download. Okay, so yeah, just I guess a couple things to keep in mind for this track. Go hard. Go harder, I think. And keep going because it's cool. It's very 2077 for sure. It's got that vibe to it, and I dig it. Thank you for sending. Also, careful. You can see how loud these. I feel like the toms aren't too loud. I think, or maybe they're a little too loud, but I think that the rest of the drums are too quiet. And careful with your reverbs and stuff. That really smooths stuff out, and you kind of want that edge to this, right? So be careful with your reverbs. All right, moving on. Cool. Vamori, Intruder. Here Here we go. We got some clear transients.
Got the rhythm, focus, bring the funk back. Bring the funk back. Funk back.
This is really, really cool. I am thoroughly enjoying this one. The snare, I think, could be better. Also, okay, the first thing that crossed my mind was back here, this entire section, the vocals are just kind of underneath everything. And like, if you wanna slowly introduce them, maybe filter them down. Because at first I just thought, oh, these vocals are not nearly loud enough, you know? So there's kind of, I don't know, a choice to be made, you know? Are you going to back the mix off and let the vocals cut through? Or are you going to fade them in a bit more intentionally sounding?
Got the rhythm, focus, bring the funk back.
I think it's dope when it drops into it. Now, hear me out. The snare is a bit too lo-fi hip-hop.
Bring the funk back.
And I don't think you should go get a glitch hop snare. I just think it should have like this sort of sound to it.
Bring the funk back.
A little more of that, you know, not quite as subdued, but
bring the funk back.
With more of that tone, you know?
Bring the funk back.
Because the snare right now, it has lots of harshness to it, and not in a bad way per se, but it just doesn't have enough fundamental. The boom. Raham likes the snare. I'm going to ban Raham from everything. Hold on a sec. I'm just gonna go grab this. Where did you send the track? Nick is wrong. Okay. Anyway, it might not even be changing the snare. It might just be finding the fundamental frequency. Oh, maybe, hold on a sec. DM's message request? 4 minutes ago. I shall accept the DM. I shall download the contents of the DM. I shall download into folder. All right. All right. Message received. Okay, so I just think the snare should have more fundamental. You guys are ganging up on me here. I'm feeling very attacked. It just doesn't have enough like punch to it. Anyway, okay, moving on. Those are my thoughts.
Town singing urban hymns with every blueprint stain from the blood murder my victim. A strain on my conscience, recalling sick things. Remains unresponsive like rats and strychnine. Got a nice name, but the folks call me butcher. If you're still breathing, I've just overlooked you. I creep through the alleys by the dark at night as the mist rolls thick past the dim street lights. They call it psychosis, mind state corrosive. Bodies disappear with my deadly dosage. Know this, everybody's gotta meet the maker. Devil's lieutenant, many men soul taker. Vicious and sadistic, twisted bone breaker. Sometimes I wish that they called me the baker. My name's on the cover of your local paper. Found and let the Lord forsake you.
Bring the funk back. Bring the funk back. It's a dope track. I just want the snare to be punchier. I don't dislike the snare. I just think it should have more fundamental. Like straight up, like if your snare was going into a channel and the fundamental was here, if it had like this on the fundamental, so it was more thunk, you know? But it's dope. So thanks for sending and enjoy your weekend. Goodbye. Okay, moving on. Record me. All right. Hearts. Record me hearts. It sounds like a pirate that has more than one heart as a birth defect, and they want somebody to do an ultrasound of their two hearts. They say, "Record me hearts." Okay, so I see your message that you're gonna have vocals. That's cool. That is a spicy note. I get it. I get what's happening, but I don't know if it works. Okay, I'm not a huge fan of these claps. They sound like, or snaps, or whatever they are. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're the best for this section. It might be the loudness and the reverb. They sound very, like trying to like your hands are cupped. Anyway, when it gets to this part, the rhythm is kind of syncopated, right? So maybe having a hi-hat going or some subtle, like a shaker, something to make it a little easier to follow the beat, because it's kind of like it's offbeat. Like it's cool, but without that like something there to anchor us, it's kind of a chore to follow the rhythm of this. Okay, so you can tell like when you bring in that snare roll, all of a sudden the syncopation of the duga duga duga, it falls into place a little bit better. So without something to have us like tapping our foot along, some people might get lost in that rhythm because it's a little bit complex. Now, when you played it up here, this F sharp or whatever note it was, it sounded good there. Like, I liked I don't know what the musical term of that note is. It's a spicy note for sure, but I liked it when you played it the octave up. I think when it's played an octave down, I think it's the fact that you're playing the spicy note lower in the register that makes it a bit too spicy. But when you play it up high, all of a sudden you can get away with more dissonance because there's more distance between the notes, more frequency between each note, right? So when you played it up here, I didn't have the same feelings as I did when you played that spicy note down low. All right, let's listen to this next section. Okay, so we're kind of missing a sub range. So you're doing D sharp. But you're playing this D sharp when you should be playing. You know what I mean? Like the sub is an octave too high, so there's not a whole lot of activity happening down by my feet where my subwoofer is. And that's me just trying to play along poorly and it's not really working, but you get the idea. Like that's where you want that bottom end to be. And then you're going to have to adjust the mix and the drums because the drums, again, the kick drum has no real sub to it. Now it might not need it if that's just providing the punch and you almost have like an 808 style. You know what I mean? But there is nothing really happening in the sub range. That's the biggest problem. Musically, it's great. Wait, I think you're playing the sub in the right key, in the right octave here. Yeah, the sub is in the right octave here, but not during like this drop section. That's confusing to me. Oh, okay. Yeah, so the track is very, very strong musically, especially once you get some vocals in there. But you need to get that sub range in there. You need to have that strong foundation to build the rest of the track on. So shift, TikTok sub, funny. You can still have those harmonics in it, but you just need to have. And I know that that's super loud, but you know what I mean. Yeah, that's pretty much those are my current thoughts on this. Is get that sub range down there, and you might have to try a different kick drum because that kick is really just a little boop, and you might need more of a thunk, you know, a thud. But yeah, very cool track, very musical, and think about that spicy note. Maybe moving it up an octave or holding off on the spicy note until. And then once you get further into it, I mean, there's lots of headroom here. So I think, you know, mastering it is, you're going to get a lot more loudness out of it. I'd also maybe try to replace that kind of like the MIDI guitar with a different instrument, or if you know somebody who can play guitar, because it's very obvious like a fake guitar. I like what it's doing and I like the musical part of it, but like it's just screaming like Omnisphere guitar or something at me. So consider maybe finding a friend that can play guitar and being like, hey, do you want to jam on this? Yeah, those are my thoughts. Thanks for sending. Cool. All right. We got Swiss cheese, the cheese with holes in it. The road ahead. Let me make sure I have all this mastering shit off. All right. First thoughts. That piano, maybe that should be a synth or something because the piano is very robotic. I feel like you know what I mean? Musically, it's fine, but like it's very static and robotic, and combining, I don't know. I think maybe a synth, or if you want to try and humanize the piano a little bit more, make it sound like a pianist played it. I said pianist with a T. Okay, moving on to the obviously too loud section. Like musically, this track is cool, but holy fuck, is it loud and like distorted. Look at how much time we're spending at the rails. And there's something about the side chaining that like the length or something. It sounds like maybe the side chain is very deep, but the release time on it is very short. So it comes up when the kick is still doing its kick thing, right? So first of all, turn everything the fuck down. Wow. It's like cause like there's some cool musical elements and the song part of it is cool. The production is just way too distorted and overdriven. I love Fowler by Fowler. Thank you. I love you too. Yeah, this part's really cool. Dun 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 dun. Except it feels very mono. Like those chords sound like they should be into the stereo field a bit more. But it's super cool musically. Yeah, it sounds like an angry robot is attacking a piano. So maybe try to sort out a better way of getting these harmonies and melodies across besides abusing pianos mechanically. I really was not expecting that double kick action. That was not what I expected, but I think I like it. It's cool. If this track was just like not as loud and distorted, I don't know what's going on in your master bus, it would be so much better. You know, it's a cool track. Don't ruin it by trying to be super duper loud. Also, the best part of the track, in my opinion, was this synth part that came in. That's sick, and I think it only happens this one time. So maybe think about reusing that or leaning a bit heavier on that synth part, because that's a sick, that sounds great to me. But yeah, too loud, piano, too robotic, cool. Otherwise, cool track. Thanks for sending. Okay, we got Nemkai Pink Pop 1983 remix. Did I hear the GoldenEye silencer sound? This is super fun. It's very jazzy, I guess. It's cool. If it's a remix, like I kind of hear like a band playing a live show or something, maybe. Wow. I don't even really know what to say except like keep going. You know, that it's sounding very good and very fun. I think fun is the best way to describe this track. It's fun and it's not long enough, so keep going. I can't really. I honestly, I don't really have any feedback for it except like I want it to be louder, and I agree with Rage Stone, music to run to. Yes, I could definitely run to this, and I'd feel pretty good about it. So keep going and feel free to send it once you got her a bit more developed. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. Speaking of Rage Stone, we've got Rage Stone. Devices pre-final. Ooh, pre-final. That's interesting. Is that una corda?
There's no sign that the evils of this world are disappearing. That hasn't changed since before I became a hero. So, I guess that means I haven't really made any difference. I'm not necessarily sad about that.
Was left to my own devices, and now I'm in deep. I'm dreaming of paradises, but I'm not asleep. Was left to my own devices, and now I'm in deep. I'm dreaming of paradises, but I'm not asleep. Was left to my own devices, and now I'm in deep. I'm dreaming of paradises, but I'm not asleep.
All right, I I agree with industry. The vocals are buried in this section. I really love the way they sound, though.
And now I'm in deep. I'm dreaming of paradises.
It almost sounds like a noise gate, like multifox. Yeah, okay, you are now at the bottom. Congratulations. Yeah, I love the way the vocals sound. It's just when it gets girthy, the vocals are like goodbye. That's what the vocals do. They go. So that could be challenging to make space for those vocals. You could either try and do that in the mix, in the production. You could time-based multiplex it. So like instead of having the vocals go the whole time, maybe focus on the sound design. Whoa, 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 vocals, whoa, 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 you know, where the production kind of stops for a second. The vocals have their couple seconds to shine, then drop back into production. There's many ways to skin this cat, but I think they're just a little too buried in this mix right now. Like the rest, the instrumental part of it sounds well mixed to me. It's just the vocals just sound buried. Very cool, very spicy, very cool. The snare. I'm not saying this snare. I try to sneak the baby making snare in anywhere I can, but because the snare kind of sounds like a vacuum, like it's like a. It's a loss of energy when it hits. And it could just be a matter of treating, maybe EQing or something, making the current snare have a little bit more bottom end, you know, have a bit more body to it, as opposed to like the top end of the snare. I want to hear more of the thump of the snare, the impact of the snare, to kind of, because when your snare hits, you have this like deep side chain, and also like the bass stops. So you got this big sub range, and then it ends with the snare. But if the snare doesn't have an impact, then it doesn't feel very powerful. But yeah, this sounds super cool. I really liked when it went to that spicy jazz chord. That was super musical, and I enjoyed it. I really think it's a matter of getting the vocals to cut through a bit more properly, and maybe trying a better snare in this section. And then obviously keep writing it, because it looks, unless, well...
It has been something. We have lost something that's essential for being human. Before, I'd have all kinds of emotions whirling inside me when I fought. Dread, panic, rage. But now, all I need is one punch to end it.
It would be funny if you put
panic, rage,
stone. Anyway, yeah, super cool track, dude. Really good. Just try to get those vocals up and maybe investigate the snare sound, specifically in the second drop. But first, I wasn't bothered by it. Yeah, it's mostly the snare in the second drop. Okay, let's move on. We got, where are we? That was Rachel. Okay, we got Lee Wan, Forest Hill. I don't know if I said that right. I probably said it wrong. Okay, that was a journey. It legitimately scared the shit out of me because I was not paying attention to the waveform. I was drawing a what I thought was going to be a samurai fish because it sounded kind of like a koi pond with a ninja element to it. And then it kind of got a little Middle Eastern, so I put him on a camel. Then we got into the military section, so I gave him a machine gun. And then at the end there was some love vibes, so I gave him a girlfriend with hearts, and the girlfriend is a fish. Okay, my thoughts on it. I feel like maybe this transition could be a little like give me like 2 seconds of warning, you know, like some feedback, or I don't know, or just scare the shit out of everybody that's listening to it for the first time. That's also an option, and you definitely chose that option this time, and it worked. It was very effective. I mean, it's its own thing. It sounds great. It's wicked, and it's a story in itself. I feel like I'm invested in a character, and I don't even know what the character is. I see Forest Village, so I don't know, maybe Ewoks or something. I don't know, but it was definitely very, very cool and interesting, and I like how unique it was. So thank you for sending. If anything, I get like the contrast, I understand it, but maybe just a little bit of smoothing or something, just so that it's like so that I'm like ready to rock, even if it's just from here to here. There's like a swell or like some guitar feedback or something. I don't know, something to think about, but it's very cool and dope and super musical. So congrats on being a musician. All right, thank you for sending. We're gonna move on. This is a very interesting waveform. Look at this. Look at the fucking DC offset. Interesting. All right, let's have a listen. Joltium Cosmic Kayak. Okay. Okay, so the panning is an interesting choice. The lead being over on the left hand. Yeah, I think that the panning is maybe not ideal. It's maybe a little like too. It reminds me of back in the 60s when stereo recording was kind of a new thing. And people would pan like the vocals all the way to the left hand side and the drums all the way to the right hand side, because it was like this new tool that they had, right? And I don't think that is proper in this. I think that your lead sound should be in the center. There's no problem with panning stuff around left and right and whatnot, but there's just some things like the main elements that we're supposed to be focusing on, I believe those should mostly be in the center of the track. And they don't have to be mono, they just have to be kind of anchored in the center. Because I feel like I'm just like slowly rotating to the left or something, right? Okay, let's move on. Yeah, like the panning, I think, is the thing that's bugging me the most. Yeah, it's cool though. I like all the kind of cosmic sounds, all the cosmic synths. There's certain things that are a bit cheesy, like the hi-hats. Like those double hi-hats, I don't know, the double claps, they kind of feel a little cheesy to me, maybe. And maybe that sound is a bit loud in the mix. I don't know. It's kind of overbearing in those sections. Overall, it's a pretty cool track. I would try to make better use of your stereo field, where you're kind of, the way I think about it is you're creating like this sound stage with the width and the depth and everything. You're creating this like bed, and then on that bed you're going to place the main elements, whether it's a synth lead, a vocal, anything like that. I think that's the way that I go about it. And when you have like main elements shifted one way or the other, it kind of makes it feel unbalanced. It maybe feels like I'm like tipping over or slowly rotating to the left. So keep that in mind and keep going. Thanks for sending. All right, we got Coach B5 Underground House updated. All right, let's have a listen. this is I love this track. This is cool. It sounds better than it did last time. I still think that bug thing is not loud enough. And that like sound designy kind of bass, it's still a little subdued. But it sounds pretty damn good, man. Also, the GoldenEye silencer sound, I think that should come up in the mix because it's fucking sick too. This is music to sneak around the space station to. Like this guy. It's James Bond with a jetpack, and he's gained a lot of weight since the last time you've seen him. Yeah, I just think like it's very smooth and sleek, and I think bringing up some of those cool sounds that are a bit buried in the mix, like the sound design thing and the pew pew, the silencer sound. There's just some like your kick and your bass are very present, and everything else kind of seems underneath it. So maybe keep that in mind, but it sounds dope. I mean, this is a track that I definitely would sneak around to. I feel like my stealth skill would go up drastically if I was listening to this. It's so sick. The silencer is so sick. I love it. Okay, cool. Thanks for sending again. Adexi, Devour. All right. What do we got here now? What's this look like? This is very girthy indeed. That was really cool. That was loud and cool and loud and cool. Very loud, very cool. I think I actually broke. I did. I broke my mic. My shock mount for my mic. I broke it. I'm out of breath. I'm sweaty. I am emotionally disturbed. I'm not sure about the status of my bowels. I changed nothing. It's dope. It's super loud, but it's not too loud. It's just super loud. So that was fucking sick. And oh hey, what's up, Milk? Thank you for joining us. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's dope. I have no the one thing was I found this at the end of this drop. And this is just kind of nitpicking, but if I had to pick one thing to gripe about, it's that I found that the energy was so high here. Maybe this dropout section is unnecessary. Like maybe going right. God damn, that's loud. Maybe going in. You know what I mean? Like that big swoosh. I kind of feel like fuck. Like just I get back into it. You know? I just felt like I was waiting too long. So that's my only real thing is maybe this dropout section is just kind of like I'm so hyped up at this point. I'm just like I don't know what to do. I feel kind of blue ballsed or something, which is kind of strange at this point in the song. But this swooshy thing is just a little too swooshy. Besides that, it's great. I don't even know what else to say. It's dope. Thank you for sending. I burned calories. That is definitely a thing that happened. All right. Next up, we got Fee-Hoo or Fahoo or Fahoo, Page Turner. 105 beats per minute. Nice. Thank you. Oh, look, I'm already at 105. That's perfect. Here we go. Wow. Okay, so I've been doing this a very long time, and one thing that I hate is that when I listen to a track, I can almost picture the project file. I can picture, I know how a lot of the sounds have been made, and that kicks me out of the artistic side of it a little bit. It makes me feel more like it's a technical process as opposed to an artistic expression. And this track, I didn't really consider any of the production. I didn't really think about how any of it sounded. I was just listening to it as a song, and that's pretty rare for me to be able to enjoy something as like the whole of the sum of all of its parts, as opposed to all of its parts summed up into the master bus, right? This is super fucking cool, man. Like this is God, you guys are killing it today. Like every once in a while my mind would drift. I'm like, oh, I wonder how he's, and then it's like whoosh. I'm like, no. Don't think, just listen. Okay, so there was one thing that I wanted to mention, and that's, where is it? These vocals. Okay, those vocals are fucking sick, but they are so buried, and I think that you could probably carve out a section of the track. So like you have your crazy sound design drop, and then you have like your post drop or like a post chorus or whatever, and it's like a cool hip hoppy kind of the vocal that's in there, but really have it as the driving force, and that will break the song up a little bit better as well, and not it will make it feel like we've gotten somewhere, and then the next time around we're getting back to that spot, right? It gives us like a point, a reference point, almost like a landmark in the song, because I think that like it's so sassy, but it's just fucking buried. So try to maybe try to let that vocal thing shine a bit more in this section, and then that way you have stupid good sound design drops, and then at the end of the sound design drop, this sassy rapper dude or girl or whatever comes in and does like their fucking blah 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 thing, and then that it's so good though. Like, yeah, well done. You get a sitting applause, because if I stood up, okay, I'll stand up. There you go. There's a standing applause for this track. Very well done. Very cool. Moving on. All right. Next up, we got Belle Div DeVio, Poison Enrique remix, original mix. This sounds like something that like an actor would say before they're about to like deliver a line or something to warm up their jaw muscles. Belle Div DeVio, Poison Enrique remix, original mix. That's very tough to say. Here we go.
Driving me out of my mind. I can't get it out of my head. It's driving me out of my mind. That's why it's hard for me to find. Can't get it out of my head. Miss her, kiss her, love her. That girl is. Smile, that girl is. That girl is.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this is very bouncy. It makes me feel like I'm in a bouncy castle, which kind of makes me feel like a bit of a creep because I'm too old to be in a bouncy castle. But wow, I really did a number on this mic stand. I find the vocals, I don't know where they're from or, you know, how you got them, but they sound a bit low quality. And then that kind of mid-range heavy, high mid-range harsh vibe, kind of ripped from YouTube sound gets kind of translated onto your mix when the vocals are there and they're super present.
That girl.
Yeah, like I'm 69% sure that you ripped this off of YouTube, which, you know, if you're not doing it for commercial reasons and you're having fun, whatever, but yeah, it's not the official vocals. Dude, like, do yourself a favor, go get some official vocals, you know what I'm saying? Go get a vocalist, find a vocalist, kidnap them. Don't kidnap them, but, you know, like consensually kidnap them, like borrow them for a minute and be like, hey, will you sing on this song? Because the track is dope, but funny enough, I find the thing that sounds the worst is the vocals because they're like super YouTubey. But if you could collaborate with a singer and like write a track, I found one. We have a session in 5 days. That's dope. That's great. You know, it's cool to write tracks and use acapellas and shit for inspiration, but nothing beats like writing a song with another human being. Am I right, Milk? So I'm excited for you to have a session in 5 days and to get some good sounding vocals in here.
It's driving me out of my mind. Can't get it out of my head. It's driving me out of my mind. That's why it's hard for me to find. Can't get it out of my head. Miss her, kiss her, love her. That girl is
I like the vibe. Like it's like it kind of reminds me of like a 1950s kind of, I don't know what that dance or the that style of music is, kind of like it's like swing maybe. It's kind of got that mischievous swing vibe to it, which is cool. But yeah, like I'm excited to hear it. Send it again when you get these new vocals in there.
that girl is.
Also, do me a favor, and in the drop, try the brass without the reverb. Why was that so hard for me to say? Try the brass without the reverb. Just try it. See if you like it, or maybe automate it on and off. Because it's or maybe do a Rayhem fake out at the start with no reverb. Bring it in. I just find that the brass is very smooth together with the reverb. And I would be interested to see what it sounded like if it was more blunt, dun 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 dun, without the reverb. Just give it a shot, see what it's like. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't have or I don't know if you're a man or not, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything to say besides the vocals weren't really sounding great to me, like the quality of them. But it makes me super happy that you are going to get a real life singer. And I wish you the best of luck. Cool. Moving on. Multifox. I hope he's back. He told me to put his track at the back of the pack. I was going to cut him some slack, so I threw his track at the back of my pack, of the pack of the back of the tracks. Sorry, I just had to do a little rap there. Rap. Sorry, rap kind of rhymes. All right, here we go. Pixels. I think we heard this one before, didn't we? Is that the fucking Yoshi sound? I deleted the song. I'm sorry. I love the Yoshi sounds. It really brings me back to my childhood. Okay, so the track is very mid-range heavy. It's very like the kick and the snare. Let me have a look. Although I do feel like it's better, like quite a bit better than the last time you sent it. So, okay, the frequency response looks fairly good on the spectrum. Maybe it's the loudness of or something. The drums are just very like almost distorted or something. It's hard for me to put my finger on it. Where's That makes me happy, Milk. Thank you for doing that. What was that note? We just shifted into a blues scale for a second there. Yeah, I feel like the kick and snare are just they're too loud maybe. I don't know, I'm having a hard time with that one. I feel like if the kick and snare were coming down a little bit, then the rest of the track could go up. Because the track itself doesn't the track itself doesn't necessarily sound too loud, but every time that kick or snare hits, it's like rail to rail, like super. And I understand that rail to rail is like an electrical engineering term. That just means like full 0 dB to 0 dB sort of thing. Yeah, like those snares are so loud, like they're so in my face. Let's see. Wait, are those the responses you're talking about, Rayham? Those ones? Because they're still a little wonky. Yeah, oh my god. Okay, so I took a multi-band compressor, and I'm not suggesting you do this in the master bus. I think that you should fix okay, here you say clap and snare combined are like 5 layers. I think what you should do is take all 5 of those layers and send them to a bus. And then somehow either limit them, or at least if you send them to a bus, you get to have a level meter that shows you how loud all of them are combined, you know, because they might not look too loud until you add them up, and then all of a sudden they're like, holy shit, that's loud. So take all your claps and snares and everything, send them to a bus, and then either, you know, clip them at a certain level, or compress them, or just turn them down, or EQ them. But I feel like that's part of your problem. Night Milk, thank you for joining us. It was a pleasure having you. But if you listen to me throwing this multi-band compressor on it, listen to the difference. Yeah, and what that compressor is doing is grabbing those harsh frequency ranges and limiting how loud they can punch through, right? You can see the amount of gain reduction in this red and the number that pops up. It was like, I saw it pull like 6 dB. So yeah, getting your drums under control, and also if you're mixing with your master effects on, just turn them off and have a listen to what the mix sounds like. If the mix sounds like shit without your mastering on, then you got some work to do before the mastering process. You shouldn't just rely on that master limiter and the mastering effects to save the day, right? It's okay to mix into a master bus, in my opinion, as long as every once in a while you're turning it off to reference things. Because you might have like a snare drum that's 1 trillion times louder than everything else, but your master limiter is just grabbing it and reducing the gain by 10 dB, and you can't quite figure out why things sound weird. Well, maybe because you're not aware that this like snare is super duper loud. So every once in a while, just turning off your master effects and giving it a once over mix job and then turning your master effects, and all of a sudden your mastering can do so much more and do it so much better. So that's my advice. The wonkiness and the call and responses and that random blues interval that happened at some point, that's kind of a taste thing. I personally don't really. There's some of the calls and responses that I'm just like, that's goofy, but if that's what you like, then that's what you like, and it certainly is unique. But I would definitely, the things that are kind of more objective and less up to our tastes are just the harshness of when those snare. I think it's mostly the snares and claps. And if you say you had 5 layers, they could just all be adding together in a not good way. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. From what I can recall, I think it was a big improvement off of the last one that you sent, though. So good job. Cool. And that is all, and that is it, and that is everything. This is me. This is my studio. As you can see, I have 2 rolls of toilet paper right over here that are supposed to be in the bathroom, but they're not. So that's embarrassing. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining me and joining us and taking part in this stream and this thing that we do. I had a lot of fun. I heard a lot of great music. And this is honestly some of the only time that I take to listen to new music. So I look forward to it every week. If you want to take part in next week's submissions, hop over to my Discord server. There should be a link everywhere, anywhere and everywhere. It's discord.gg/Fowler Music, FWLR Music. Drop your links in there, or drop your files, I should say, and we'll have a listen next week. Have a good weekend, guys. I love you very much. Bye. I thought you probably thought I was frozen, but I was just waiting to say bye. Bye.